It's Monday morning. Three colleagues are chatting about their weekends. Pretty normal, right? Except someone broke into the office supply room over the weekend, and one of those three colleagues just accidentally gave themselves away.
Welcome back to Fluent Friends, the podcast where you learn English by solving mysteries. I'm Leo.
And I'm Mia. Today's clue is hiding in the most casual conversation you'll ever hear. Ready? Leo, take us to Monday morning.
Right then, picture the scene. It's an office. Any office, really. The lights are a bit too bright, the air conditioning is humming, and there's that unmistakable smell of slightly burnt coffee.
Ugh, that Monday energy. I know it well. Okay, so standing in the little kitchen area, we have our three colleagues, Rachel, Tom, and Dev. They're all making coffee, trying to summon the will to start the week.
And inevitably, someone asks the question. The most important question of any Monday morning.
How was your weekend? In the US, we might also say, what did you do this weekend? Is that what you'd say in the UK?
We might, but a very common and I think slightly more natural sounding alternative is, what did you get up to?
Get up to. I like that. It sounds a little more fun.
It does, but it reminds me of what we discussed in episode 1 with How are you? It's a social ritual. Most of the time, the person asking doesn't actually want a 20-minute detailed account of your Saturday.
Totally. It's why the default answer is not much or it was good. But for our story today, those little details are everything. And one of our colleagues is about to slip up. So let's listen in on our three colleagues. We'll start with Rachel, who is the first to answer.
All right, what did Rachel get up to?
She had a super lazy weekend and she is not ashamed. She proudly announces that she slept in on Saturday.
Slept in. A crucial phrase. For our listeners, that means she stayed in bed much later than usual. Not that she just fell asleep somewhere.
Exactly. She slept in until noon, then she binge-watched an entire season of a crime drama on Netflix. Binging is doing something excessively for a moment in time.
An entire season? Good heavens.
I know, right? Sounds amazing. On Sunday, she just chilled, did some laundry, and went for a walk. And she finishes by saying, honestly, it was exactly what I needed.
I have a great deal of respect for that. I think saying I did absolutely nothing and it was glorious is a perfectly acceptable, even admirable way to describe one's weekend.
See, I feel so guilty when I have lazy weekends. I always feel like I have to make it sound more productive. I'll say, oh, I did some life admin, instead of, I watched TV for 10 hours. Rachel is my spirit animal.
Productivity is overrated. Right, who's next? Tom?
Yep, Tom. He's the opposite of Rachel. He went hiking on Saturday with some friends. He's really enthusiastic, talking about the great views. But overall, he describes the whole weekend as pretty low-key. Afterwards, he says they grabbed brunch at a place near the trail.
Hiking and brunch sounds anything but low-key to me, but I suppose it's all relative. He sounds like a fun chap.
He does. Quick question. You say hiking, we say hiking, but when you're on the hike, are you on a trail or a path? I feel like path is more British.
That's a good point. We use both, but path or footpath is very common, yes. Trail feels a bit more American, a bit more rugged and adventurous, like you might encounter a bear. We just encounter sheep.
Okay, so we have a lazy weekend from Rachel and an active one from Tom. That leaves Dev.
Right, Dev.
Dev sounds a bit tired. He says he just caught up on some work from home over the weekend.
Caught up on. A very useful phrase. It means doing work or tasks that you were behind on. You can catch up on emails, catch up on reading, or even catch up on sleep.
Yep. So Dev says he had a lot of emails to get through and needed to finish a report. He says, it wasn't great, but at least I'm caught up now. Then he adds, very casually, he says, yeah, my coffee at home was terrible, so I even grabbed one from the machine on the third floor. You know how it is. Anyway, I should get started on that weekly summary.
The weekly summary, the true highlight of any Monday.
So that's it. That's the Monday morning chat. Three people, three weekends. But later that day, the office manager sends an email to everyone.
Oh dear, this sounds serious.
It is. The manager announces that someone accessed the building over the weekend using a key card, and they took a bunch of supplies from the supply room on the second floor. Not stolen, just taken. A lot of them.
The plot thickens.
Security cameras show someone was in the building on Saturday afternoon, but the footage is too grainy to see who it is. So the manager asks everyone if they were in the building. Rachel, Tom, and Dev all say no. Rachel says she was at home all weekend, Tom says he was hiking, and Dev says he was working from home.
So, we have 3 alibis. Rachel said she was at home all weekend, Tom said he was hiking, Dev said he was working from home. They all sound perfectly reasonable. One of them is not telling the truth.
Exactly. So, to our listeners, who was actually in the building over the weekend, and what did they say that gave them away?
If you're not sure yet, go back and listen to the story again. The clue is in one of those Monday morning conversations. Pay attention to the small details. Sometimes the most casual comment is the one that doesn't fit. When you've got your answer, come back for the reveal. We will give you a moment to really think about this. Pause the video before we give you the right answer. Here it comes. 3, 2, 1. The answer is Dev.
Did you catch it? It was so subtle. Dev told everyone he caught up on work from home over the weekend, but in his Monday morning chat, he casually mentioned he grabbed a coffee from the machine on the third floor. That's the office coffee machine on the third floor of the office building. You don't have that at home.
Precisely. Each statement on its own sounds perfectly normal. I worked from home. Fine. I grabbed a coffee from the machine. Fine. But put them together and the story falls apart. He was in the building. He just forgot to keep his story straight.
And that's the thing with lies. People trip up on the small, automatic details. The big story is rehearsed. It's the throwaway comment that reveals the truth.
You know, this is actually something real investigators do. When they're questioning someone, they don't challenge the main story head-on. They ask about small, peripheral details. What did you eat? What were you wearing? What was the weather like? Because the big story is rehearsed and polished, but the tiny details, those are the ones people forget to fake.
That's so true. And honestly, it's the same with listening to English. People focus on the big words and the main idea, but so much meaning lives in the small, throwaway phrases. That little comment about the coffee machine, most people's brains skip right over it because it sounds so boring. But that's where the truth was hiding.
The boring bits are the important bits. There's a life lesson in there somewhere. And there was some great vocabulary in those alibis. Remember, catch up on. Dev said he caught up on work, a very useful phrase for Monday mornings when you're explaining why you look so tired.
And binge watch, when Rachel watched an entire season in one go. We've all been there. It's a perfect word for that.
Indeed, and low-key. Tom said his weekend was pretty low-key. That just means quiet, relaxed, nothing dramatic. It's a fantastic casual word to use.
It really is. Okay, so for my word of the episode, I'm choosing get up to. I love this one because it sounds almost mischievous. What did you get up to this weekend? Like you're expecting the person did something interesting or maybe slightly naughty. It's so much better than just what did you do?
It is rather good. Though in my experience, the answer is almost always not much.
Next time on Fluent Friends, a confidential email gets leaked at work. 4 people had access. One of them slipped up when they were questioned, but you'll have to listen carefully to catch which word gave them away.
All the vocabulary from today is in the description below, with definitions and examples. And if you haven't heard our last episode about the birthday dinner, go check it out. Someone's wallet disappeared, and the clue is brilliant.
All right, good one today, Leo.
See you next time. Cheers.